Voilà. And Susanna, if you want to start, I think you have a presentation to share.
Okay, yes, I will share in a little while. I want really to welcome everyone, and I want to thank Arnold for having me, and really wines and quintas and wine trips to Portugal is one of my favorite subjects. So I hope you will enjoy what I will be talking about. And Portugal is really very rich in wines and wine estates. And about the quintas, quintas in Portuguese language can be two things. It can be either a house, a manor house, a quinta, or it can be just a piece of land, a big piece of land, or it can be both. It can be a piece of land where a house stands on it. Generally in the north of Portugal, the wine estates are called quinta, whereas in the south, in Alentejo, they are called herdades. So I will now share my presentation. And what I will start with, can you see the presentation already?
Yeah, we can see it. If you can put it on.
Okay.
Yeah. Please.
No, I am at the end and I have to go to the beginning. Okay. So actually, I was thinking where to start with, and when we talk about wines in Portugal, everyone thinks on Douro and Alentejo, but there are really some very nice wine estates just around Lisbon. And so you don't need to travel too far. You can really have a great experience for one day or just for a lunch. And the nearest I will start with is this one, Quinta da Murta. I don't know, it's just 30 kilometers north of Lisbon. And I don't know if you have heard about Arinto wine and Pucelas, which is part of the historical wine route. And it links Pucelas and the typical Portuguese grape Arinto to Carcavelos, which is a small village between Lisbon and Cascais, and where they historically produced a fortified wine. It was not produced during many years, but they have now restarted, and they are actually trying very hard to conserve this heritage, and they already completely renovated the Marquês de Pombal palace and the wine cellar, where you also can go and taste the Carcavelos wine. And further on, it links to Colares wines, where we also have the traditional Colares grapes, Malvasia and Ramishko grape, the red wine grape. But today, I want especially to talk about Pucelas and Arinto. And Arinto is this historical wine, and the Quinta da Murta, they produce rosé, red wine, but their main product is Arinto wine. And you can reach it like half an hour outside of Lisbon, and the landscape is very nice. You can also take advantage and do some hiking and then end with a nice lunch or just the wine tasting with some snacks. They also have the house of their owner, because their owner is Portuguese, but he lives in Vietnam, and so he rents out his house for family parties. He has totally 6 rooms there. And as you can see, a swimming pool, obviously, and the landscape is really beautiful. They also do sparkling wine, so nothing better than start is my first recommendation. And it's the Quinta da Murta sparkling, just made from exclusively Arinto grapes. And they call their wines the wines of Shakespeare. And there's actually a historical background, because Arinto was already mentioned in the 16th century in a play of Shakespeare, the Henry VI. And through the battles of the Portuguese English troops against Napoleon's army, it became well known also by that time to the English royal court. So you can see it is really a historical wine and the heritage, Portuguese heritage, Arinto grape and Arinto wines. And it gives us some connection to the English-speaking world. I don't know not directly to England, to Ireland, but to England and English culture. And so I thought this was something nice to mention. The champagne is a Blanc de Blanc. It's ideal for festivities, for cocktails, or also together with a nice dessert. And it has great potential for aging. It is a very elegant sparkling wine, and it has been classified as one of the best by Portuguese wine critics. Having this said, we immediately move on to another wine estate, the Adega Mine, which is actually mother cellar, and it was built materializing the dream of another very traditional Portuguese family, the Ribeiro Alves. Ribeiro Alves is a family that was always since decades engaged in the distributing, first only distributing, but then distributing and producing premium cod fish. And they wanted to build this wine cellar and wine estate, honoring the heritage of this area, which is near Torres Vedras. And it's the wine are Atlantic wines because the seaside is very close and you can feel it. And it makes this wine special because you can even feel salty notes in the white wines. They are of great mineralogy. And Adega Mine produces from traditional and international grapes, red wines and white wines, and also sparkling wines. And you can see one of the really USP of this winery is their fantastic architecture, which was created to be actually a window to the beautiful landscapes around. They have Salna Adega, which is salt in the cellar, the Atlantic wines. It's the name of the restaurant that was opened, I think, 2 years ago, where you can have an a la carte meal, but they also have event spaces. And you can there reserve visits and wine tastings, and for groups also lunch and dinners in special event rooms, or just enjoy an a la carte meal in their restaurant. And obviously the wines are best to be paired with the most amazing cod fish dishes, as cod is their specialty. So here I obviously wanted to advise you to recommend a nice white wine. It's a little bit a full-bodied white wine because it has aged in oak barrels. It has 13 degrees of alcohol, and it is made from the traditional Portuguese grapes, Alvarinho, Biozinho, but also some Chardonnay. And Adega Mine also recommended a cod dish, which goes nicely with these wines, and it's cod loins with crispy ham on a potato bed with marinated onions. So you can look it up, and it's a very nice combination. This aged white wine with some cod. It doesn't have to be exactly that, but you might be aware that cod and best boiled cod, which is seasoned with olive oil, with best of olive oil and vinegar, and comes together with steamed vegetables, carrots, spinach, and so on. This is actually the traditional dish on the Consoada, the 24th of December. Quinta de Gradiel is my third recommendation, the third Quinta. It is also a historical one, and their wine and agriculture has been made since 700 years. It is a little bit far away, 75 kilometers north of Lisbon, but also very easy to do in a one-day excursion. They are ready for wine tasting. Also the landscapes is again very nice around. The Serra de Monte Junto invites for some nice hiking on the weekend. And what is actually particular is that only recently they have finished to renovate this historical palace. You can see in the picture. And inside there is also a big event room for up to 250 guests, and they can organize anniversaries and weddings, and they even have a little chapel. And this winery belongs to not directly to the Marquês de Pombal, but to the Marquês de Pombal family. And today it is owned by the Parra family, a Portuguese family, which is one of the largest wine producing company in Portugal. And they have wine estates in altogether 7 different wine regions. So these are the Lisbon wines. I don't know if you are aware, but Lisbon is also a demarcated wine region, and it is divided in several sub-regions. There are the Colares wines, then you have Oeste, the Atlantic wines, and Bruxelles obviously belongs to it, and the historic wine route. So there is a lot to discover, also just around Lisbon. When you have, I mean, this event space is very large, but if you had like just 6 or 8 guests, a group of friends, they have a restaurant which they closed, but you can actually reserve a lunch or a dinner there and bring your friends, and they have then an outside catering, and you can do a wonderful wine pairing meal. This was dessert, and now we travel. First of all, I have to refer still the red wine I want to recommend. Quinta de Gradiel has wonderful wines as well, made from international grapes and Portuguese grapes. This one is a fortified wine. It has aged in oak barrels. It has 14 degrees of alcohol and has 2 very traditional grape varieties, the Touriga Nacional and Alicante Touché, and a more exotic one, which is Tannat. Tannat is a grape which originates from Uruguay, and this has been an experience and a blend Quinta de Gradiel has produced, and it's a very successful wine. Actually, there is also a monovarietal just made of Tannat, but it is sold out. That was the one I wanted originally to present, but I learned it is sold out. So here you have Quinta de Gradiel Reserva. And it is obviously a Christmas wine because it goes very well with all the nice roasts, be it a goose or a turkey or beef, whatsoever. And if, as you can see, the wines around Lisbon are still a very good value for money and excellent quality. I recently have been there and I tasted it. It is really a very rewarding experience. I took Doral first because the other 2 wine estates will be Douro and Alentejo. Of course, there are many others in Portugal, but these are the 2 that are the most well-known. And Douro even was the first demarcated wine region in the world. You might have heard about it. And some time ago, it was classified as a World Cultural Heritage. Douro itself is subdivided in 3 different Douro regions, the central one and the upper Douro and the lower Douro, and each of it has a different name. But it is certainly a unique landscape because it was formed by the man, by human, and they actually transformed the landscape, and it will never be the same. And that is what was worth to be declared as a World Cultural Heritage. The winery I want to suggest is Quinta Casamarella. Quinta Casamarella is situated further down. You might have heard there is a small village in Douro, which is Pinhal. It is a little vintage town, and it could be seen as the center of wineries. Many wineries are around there. However, Quinta Casamarella is a little bit further south. It is situated between Peso da Régua and Lamego, 2 other cities in Douro. Has everyone of you been at in Douro Valley already, Arnold?
Yeah, I've been to the Douro.
So you got to know it. And Quinta Casamarella is a very small winery. It has been existing since at least the 19th century. It is in the same family since 3 or 4 generations. And since always, they are completely engaged in doing premium wines, introducing premium wines, port wines, white wines, red wines. And they really offer very nice interactive activities where you can bring a group of friends or for corporate events, where you can, for example, learn about the different terroirs, the different Portuguese wine regions and grapes. They even have prepared a valley paper which will bring you to the different areas of the place, and you can get into the tricks and knowledge of their sustainable wine production. And then, of course, you can also reserve all the different wine tastings, wines and chocolate, or wine with different pairings of snacks, or a meal, mainly a lunch. And this you can do as from a minimum of 2 or 4 people. You can have some impressions here. I mean, it is a typical farm in Doral. The farms in Doral, by the way, are all quite smaller, as by tradition. As a difference to Olympij or Erdades, which are very large properties, very large surface. In the north of Portugal, the lands and the properties are all small pieces, smaller units. And this is also why the vineyards are generally smaller and spread out. And obviously, because of the hills and the mountains, much more difficult to work on. So Quinta Casamarella also has a small house, a guest house with 4 suites, and they only rent it out exclusively. The rooms cannot be hired singularly, but also all together in the high season. Again, with your family or a group of friends. And what I recommend, I mean, they have a small, how to say, a small selection of their wines, and they work with the traditional Doral grapes, be it the white wines or the red wines. This one is 2016 Quarteira harvest, 2016 harvest. Here we have the very classic red wine grapes from Doral, which is Doriga Nacional, Doriga Franca, and Tinta. And it has all the characteristic aromas of a red wine, like black fruit, blackberry, cassis, plums, cherry, and then again, because to the oak and the aging, spices, chocolate, tabak, and it has a long, fine and velvety finish, and it has a huge potential for aging. So this is a great wine, and again, you can see 25 euros. It is really good value for money. I also want to make a point that this, I don't know if you have already ordered wines online. For me, one of the most frequent purchases I did during the lockdown was buying wines online. I have to say it works really well, and all these wineries have very well organized online shops. So if you look up these references, it will be very easy for you to buy online. Like a very nice wine shop is Carafera Nacional. Maybe it's the most popular one. Then you also have Vinho.pt, which is a nice one. And there are many online shops nowadays. So this is Quinta Casamarella Elisio 2016. Again, this is an homage to their father and their grandmother. I mean, this is something generally done where they produce wine to honor one of their family members. And of course, I could not talk about Christmas wines without mentioning a nice port wine. In this case, Quinta Casamarella also produces port. It is a tawny port, a 10 years tawny port. You might know that tawny is more this browny kind of port wine. It has a completely different taste, more caramel taste, not such a fruity taste as the ruby colored tawny. And it goes very well together with the typical sweets you serve on a Christmas table in Portugal, such as the rabanadas or arroz doce or sonhos, the dreams, which is fried dough, and then it is rolled into crystal sugar. The sonhos, dreams, is also another very typical Portuguese Christmas sweet. So this is Quinta de Casamarella, 10 years tawny port. And so we arrive to Alentejo. I mean, we do not arrive immediately because it is a bit more than 200 kilometers from Lisbon and far away from Doral. It's south. I found this nice picture of Alentejo in wintertime, but just think that Alentejo within some weeks it will be completely different, because when it's not so hot, the grounds get all very green, and then in spring you have it always get the most colorful flowers. So this is Alentejo in winter and spring, which is always worth a trip. And not because, I mean, I adore Doral Valley, I really love it, but Alentejo is closer, and so it's always worth a nice escape down there. Actually, this weekend I will be again on the road, but I will be traveling to Évora and also visiting some nice estates. But now let's go on to Erdada do Hotel, luxury wine hotel, which is the last estate I want to talk about. It has been the first wine hotel long before all these fashionable and nice wine hotels that nowadays are existing in Alentejo as well, and so many others, luxury and 4-star. Basically, in Alentejo there is beautiful solutions and accommodations for every kind of pocket. So the Erdada do is set within a 1,600 hectare estate, and it is covered with beautiful cork forests and of course vineyards. It is a family-owned property, and they produce premium wines. I mean, still very good value for money, but upscale. They have 11 guest rooms and they have their own restaurant. I really love this picture because it shows perfectly the atmosphere down there. And Erdada also offers all kinds of different experiences, obviously suitable for the region, and which will discover their guests, which will allow to discover the guests the area around. Qaeda Lake is very nearby, the big lake in Alentejo, which is also, I think it is always impressive to visit it because it's an amazing engineer work. And it has changed the landscape of Alentejo forever. So this estate, this Erdada, is situated very close to Qaeda Lake. You can reserve a picnic, a wine tasting. I mean, obviously this is the kind of experiences and excursions and programs I suggest in my daily life to my clients that are mostly agencies from abroad. You can do safari on the grounds of the Erdada. You can go deer watching. And obviously mountain biking, hiking, it's really a huge area you can explore. And then there's still the wine cellar and wine shop and the restaurant where you can experience the typical regional Alentejo discos that are so suitable with their nice red and white wines. And I mean, this is also 1 hour south from Évora, and it is close to the Algarve. So I mean, it's always worth to stop by when you are maybe between Lisbon and the Algarve, or you want to do something different, traveling north from the Algarve. So there are a lot of possibilities. Here comes my recommendation for Alentejo Haché, a very precious red wine. And it has aged 12 months in the bottle, and before in 500-liter oak barrels. Again, the grapes are the foreign grape Cabernet Sauvignon, but then Alicante Boucher and the Riga Nacional are actually grapes used very often for wine production in Alentejo. But I must say that Alentejo, a lot of experience is also being done. There are wineries that have tried to that have grown the Sangiovese grape, which is so typical for Chianti, and it grows as well in Alentejo, and then of course Merlot and several foreign grapes. So this wine, again, it is very balanced. It has fine aromas of berries in the mouth. It is elegant, velvety tannins, and it is perfect for a Christmas table and for a very festive wine. And now I want to come to an end. And I also would like to recommend this Haché Aguardente Vinica Bella, because most of the wineries, I forgot to say that Erdada Do Hotel also produces fantastic olive oil and their own marmalade, their jams, fruit jams. And many of the Alentejo wineries of the Erdades, they also produce sweet harvest, sweet wines. And so Erdada do Sobroso produces this Aguardente Vinica, very pleasant, aged, not so strong, and it can be enjoyed best by the fireplace and after a nice meal. And as we were talking, Aguardente Vinica is like cognac. It's made at the same time, the same way, but it cannot be called cognac because this is the domain, the French domain, cognac. And so, yeah, I think this round rounds it nicely up. I started with the sparkling, and I end with the Aguardente Vinica. We don't drink it, fortunately, because also we do not have something to eat to accompany. Otherwise, we would all be already completely drunk. And if you have any further questions, you can always contact me. My name is Susanna Tocca, and my brand is Winelands Portugal by Dr. MC. It's I have this travel agency, and I create all kinds of programs and trips for families and girls, and also wine tourists who want to explore corporate events, and also just for one couple, whatever. I love Portugal. I'm passionate about Portugal and Portuguese wine, and that's from my side. Thank you, Anna.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much, Susanna. That's a great tour of the wine in Portugal from the north to the south. So lots of great suggestions there. Thank you very much. I'll share your contact details after the meeting, and we'll take some questions. But I think it's better if we go on with the presentation, and then we'll take some questions or comments. I'm sure there must be some specialist wine lover here. So Sarah, if you want to, yeah, okay.
Perfect.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, everyone, for letting me speak to you today. Thanks to Arnold, and plenty of wine tips there from Susanna, which is brilliant. If only I was in Portugal, that would help. So yeah, just really quickly on who I am and what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. So my name is Sarah O'Connor, and I'm based on the west coast of Ireland in County Clare, so a lovely part of Ireland. And I'm the digital marketing manager with youfurnish.com. So just to kind of sum up, I guess, who youfurnish.com are. We're a search and discovery website for home furniture and furnishings. We bring together over 100 different retailers and over 1 million products onto one website. So I'm just on our homepage now. Basically, what we want to do is make you or help you to find your perfect item, whether that be a sofa or whether that be something as simple as a new throw for your bed. So people can come onto youfurnish.com, they can search for their perfect item, they can compare across the market. So as I mentioned, over 100 different retailers. They can then shop, and then at that point of when they find the product, they click out and they're brought to a retailer's website. So it's super simple. They can work through Christmas, which is quite relevant at the moment and which I will be talking about, right down to your bedroom furniture, your kitchen furniture, dining room, and so on. I've been with youfurnish.com now for almost a year. So I joined in January, and really we've grown from strength to strength, and we have employees all across Europe. So we have predominantly in the UK, but also of course here in Ireland, Portugal as well, Czech Republic, and really a broad range of people, which is really, really great. And the team is constantly growing. At the moment, we're a team of 19. We're set to add another 4 or 5 in the coming month, actually in January, and that will continue to grow. And we're founded by Deirdre McGettrick, so she is Irish as well, and she's based in Sligo. So that kind of gives you a little background, I suppose, on where I'm coming from. And I'll just present. So yeah, I've kind of, I suppose, chatted through who we are, but really just to say we're an innovative, market-leading search engine, and we want to reinvent the way that furniture and home furnishings are searched, discovered, compared, and shopped online. So as I said, over 1 million products, 100 furniture retailers. At the moment, we're largely servicing the UK market, so it does depend on the retailer themselves. We don't handle the shipping or the products end of things. So for example, John Lewis and Partners would be one of our retail partners. They would largely service just the UK market, but there are some then other retailers who potentially would deliver it to Portugal, for example. But again, all does come down to the individual retailer. So I kind of wanted to chat through a couple of things today, just about getting the home ready for Christmas. So I guess in the lead up to Christmas, as a team, we all sat down and we had a look at what was trending, what were people looking to know, what would help people get their home ready for Christmas. And there was a couple of kind of topics that came out. And one of those was getting your home guest ready. So, you know, I guess really Christmas is that time when people will be staying over, family are coming back, whether that be children returning from university, whether the in-laws are coming to stay, whatever that situation might be. And it requires extra bedding, it requires an extra place to sleep, an extra chair at the table. So we put together kind of a couple of tips and the insights that we've seen from across that. So when it comes to the dining table, I guess there's a couple of options that are always used. So you have your round dining table, your oval, or extending. And what we've really seen this year is a large upsurge in searches for and interest in extending dining tables. But I think what's really great about them is that they are economical. They allow you to be economical with your space. So in your typical, you know, January to November time, when there might be just 2 or 3 of you at home, or smaller family unit, you can just set the table for that many people. But then really with the extending dining tables, you can stretch as far as 8, 9, 10 people are all around that table. So we've really seen an upsurge in extending dining tables. But then, of course, there's the traditional round and oval. So the kind of key insights around when you're choosing your table shape are that a round is deemed to be a bit more social, while an oval table then does take up less space. So it does depend obviously on the area you're putting it in. But I think that really is what makes an extending dining table so great, is that it's perfect for the smaller spaces. But then it might be a little tighter as you come into the Christmas, but you're able to get more bodies around the table essentially. Then when it comes to, I guess, your seating arrangement for around the table, what we've noticed is a really big trend this year is mismatched dining chairs. So I guess your kind of typical unit is your dining table and 4 or 5 exactly matching dining chairs, which absolutely has always worked and will continue to work. But something we're seeing a bit more now is those mismatched dining chairs. And that's quite helpful, I think, for, as I mentioned, in your typical January to November period, when it's just the 3 or 4 of you at home, having the matching chairs. But rather than having 8, 9, 10 of the same chairs on hold for people when they're coming over, extra kind of mismatched chairs lend themselves really well to these extra chairs for your special occasions, and they can really easily be rehomed then for the rest of the year. So nice plush velvet chair can potentially be popped at the end of the table for an extra guest, and then returned to its place in your home office, in your bedroom, or as a statement chair in your entrance in your hall. So that's definitely something we've noticed. The third thing we definitely see as well is an upsurge in sofa sales as you kind of reach that Q4 period of the year. So you're kind of October, November, December time. Again, modular sofas have been really popular. So kind of in the same vein as an extending dining table, modular sofas just give you that kind of breadth of change, and you can accommodate different needs, different spaces. You can make it as big as you want, as small as you want. They're really, really convenient. And we have a couple of retailers now who really are just focusing on those modular sofas, essentially sofas in a box. So Swift will be one of them. Within 24 hours, they can get your sofa in a box to your door, and you decide how big you want it to be. If it's going to be a 2-seater, 3-seater, whatever that might be. You can literally swap the units around. Simple to put together, really easy then to change up and accommodate. And also, I guess at Christmas, when you're popping the Christmas tree into the living room, it can become a little bit tighter for space. So it gives you that option of removing essentially one of the blocks from the modular sofa, placing that in your spare room, in the garage, whatever it might be, and getting the most room around your tree for all those presents. So really, really versatile. Then I guess it comes down to where your guests are going to sleep. And of course, many of us may have spare bedrooms, but equally if we're in a smaller apartment or a smaller space and you still want people to be able to stay over, sofa beds do still be one of the most popular items really. So I guess that's kind of the internal debate with sofa beds, is that you either have a good sofa or you either have a good bed, and it's difficult to have the two. But really what we're seeing now in the market is huge change in the style and the function of sofa beds. So before, when you might have to compromise on a comfortable seat or a comfortable bed, that really isn't a problem anymore. So again, I referenced Swift. They're in the process of also making a sofa bed which is equally as comfy to sit on as it is to sleep on. And I think that's something that a lot more retailers are going to be jumping on, because we want something that for the 11 months of the year we can sit and relax on, but then when the guests come over can easily be rolled out, comfortable sleep, and then put back as a sofa. So as always, a hugely popular item in the run up to Christmas. And then finally is the bedding. So of course, extra guests, extra people means extra bedding. So I think it's all about adding that extra touch. I mean, yes, they may be on a sofa bed, they might be in the spare bedroom, but you still want it to feel like a luxurious stay. You want to create that almost hotel feeling in your home. And that can be so easily done with some nice bedding, whether that be some crisp cotton sheets, I think your white sheets with some really nice throws, or a heavier tog duvet. So obviously I know certainly here in Ireland, the weather gets that little bit colder as we roll into December. I have a heater beside me here that I'm tempted to turn on in a minute. But something like that, a heavy tog duvet can really just add that kind of sense of luxury, I guess. So they will be kind of the top things we've seen in terms of getting your home guests ready. And all of these are built out a bit further as well into blogs that sit in our website. So if you're interested to read a bit more, that is on our website. So then we kind of move into the more definitely Christmas themed content. So we wanted to, I guess, showcase the top trends that we were seeing in terms of decorating coming into Christmas. And there were 5 of these that really stood out to us. So the first one was your handcrafted Christmas. So I guess, hate saying the word lockdown, but we do remember it. It's not too distant now, but it really did inspire love of making, of creating. We were working with our hands, so whether we made some banana bread or we made some decorations for the home, that really has carried on that sense of do it yourself and create something beautiful that you can be proud of. So that's definitely something that's feeding into the decorating schemes for Christmas. So it doesn't have to be handmade, absolutely not. You don't have to go with the effort of making your own Christmas decorations. But I guess a lot of the styles of decorations we're seeing now have been in that idea of simple wooden decorations, things that literally look like they have been handmade. So I guess buying things that look that a little bit more handcrafted, have that little bit more of a polished effect. Absolutely, it's a brilliant way to spend time with the kids or whatever that might be, making things, but can equally be purchased. If you're adding that then to your tablescape, we really would recommend Christmas crackers made from brown paper, finished with ribbon, rather than your kind of classic metallic kind of cracker, which would kind of contrast a bit too much with this handcrafted theme. So really you want to carry it through from the decorations on the trees, the garlands, right through to the table, and have that continuity of a handcrafted Christmas. Then I guess really kind of similar again, it goes to embracing tradition. So I guess Christmas is all about being cozy. It's about spending time with those you love, and the shininess, the brightness, the golds, the vibrant colors. So this trend really looks at those warm colors and heavier, snug, kind of warm textiles. So it will involve dressing your tree with baubles in luxurious shades, and then the use of greenery and garlands around the fireplace, the windowsills, the banisters on your stairs. Incorporating gold fairy lights as well will work a lot better than silver. I guess putting silver, it can kind of have that colder effect, versus gold has that nice warming feel when you're trying to embrace that traditional feel. And then when it comes to replicating that in your Christmas table, some colored glassware and gold cutlery then will really carry on that theme from your tree to your table as well. A third trend that we're definitely seeing is the green and white, really rustic, really traditional, and it's kind of tying back to our love for the outdoors. So again, I think lockdowns have reignited that love of being outdoors, spending time in nature and getting it while we can, and that's created this kind of beautiful, fresh, nature-inspired interior. So it's very much around sticking to a color palette of the white and green, including botanical elements, natural materials, and the use of white flowers and plants dotted around your living space as well as being used as centerpieces on your table. Equally then, small succulents, and I have one here that's slightly maybe worse for wear, and it's a little Santa pot. I must add a drop of water to it. But yeah, small succulents work really well as well. So they can be used as place name holders, and that continues that natural theme really nicely, again, from the tree to the wreath down to the table. So again, green and white, a big trend for this year. And then is a little bit less traditional and probably a bit more bold, and that would be a colourful Christmas. So it's great fun. It embraces the entire spectrum of colour. I guess in the past, red and greens and golds would be traditional Christmas colours. But this is, you know, whatever color is your favorite, it can certainly be added to the mix. So whether that's tangerine, blue, neon colors, they certainly have a place. It's really vibrant, it's really quirky, and it's just around celebration. It's about injecting some life, some color into your space. I guess the kind of ways of embracing this would be replacing the traditional wreath with something a bit more multicolored. So on the bottom left there, you can see kind of a multicolored bauble wreath. So that's from one of our retail partners, Rocket St. George. They have some really quirky pieces, and just like colorful things, really colorful baubles as well. The silver and gold fairy lights might not have as much impact if you really want to go for that colorful vibe. So multicolored is definitely making a comeback. So I think warm gold or warm hues in Christmas lights have been really big recently. They do still tend to be the most popular, but multicolored are certainly have a place, and they're working the way back in. And if this is the trend for you, then definitely multicolored lights are the way to go. And it's all about just going that little bit over the top, because look, if you can at Christmas, really, when can you? And then silver and gold, so a bit back more to the kind of traditional, that colder feel almost. And it's certainly more minimal when you compare it to the colourful Christmas. So it's about mixing metallics. It's glamorous, it's modern, but it's definitely going to appeal to the younger generations as well. So it's got your twinkling fairy lights, the sparkles, the confetti, the glitter that you'll be hoovering off the carpet for days to come. Colour might not be the main focus of this, but texture is definitely part of it. So you've got your metallic baubles with that harsh kind of feel on the outside. Then Christmas tree decorations made with different materials as well, so whether that be wool, where they crocheted, sequins. But then if you are pairing it with some colour, just try and keep those shades quite neutral. So shades of vanilla will tie just together that bit more, as you can kind of see in the left image and the middle image, just keeping the other tones quite minimal so that the silver and gold can really shine out. So they were kind of our 5 Christmas themes, something there hopefully for everyone. But the final piece that I wanted to touch on was around the finishing touches. So the tree is up, most of the presents are bought, but you could still add a couple of more pieces. And I think that's the great thing about every Christmas. You'll find one more piece to add. You'll find that perfect ornament, the perfect tree decoration that just means something to you and your family. And it's all about those finishing touches. So there's kind of 5 really easy ways of just adding that final element of Christmas to your home. The first one is foliage. So, I mean, nothing really says Christmas quite like a garland or a wreath. So adding that last minute foliage, so it can be real, it can be fake, to your seasonal decor. It's a great way to just add that extra special element of Christmas in the final few weeks before Christmas Day. I know over here when I was younger, we used to get real holly. There'd always be a neighbour knocking on the door on Christmas Eve and he'd come with a bunch of real holly. And it was such a special experience. We used to hang it on the pictures and put it on the mantelpiece. And I think it's actually been a number of years since we've gotten it now again, but it really just, it was something you look forward to, and it brought that life and that real life foliage indoors. But it doesn't have to be real. As I mentioned, faux, there's some amazing items out there now that look just as good as the real thing. Seasonal scents. So, I mean, nothing says Christmas like a seasonal candle and a scented candle. And I have bought more than my fair share of them now this year. But really, it's a great way of getting that atmosphere up in the home. So what we recommend is really kind of isolating one smell per room. So whether that be kind of that gingerbread scent for the kitchens, like your baked cookies almost, to a Christmas tree pine smell for the sitting room, for your living room. That's really great, I think, in homes that have artificial Christmas trees as well, because it brings the scent of the fresh pine and it's just as convincing as having the real thing. And a lot of people are swapping over to artificial trees, a lot more sustainable. And it's something that we've definitely seen, literally Christmas trees, that is the fake variety, sell out super, super quick. And they're a lot easier, I think, to maintain. And it's something a lot more people are switching to. Then, speaking of switching, is simple swaps. So it's just about swapping out the furnishings in different small bits. So, you know, your usual soft furnishings, replace them with something a bit more festive. So that could be as easy as changing a cushion cover to something with a robin on it. I know that's what we've done in our living room. So we have some robin cushion covers. We also have some beautiful homemade cushion covers that a neighbour of mine from a few years ago made. They're really special as the one was actually passed on. So they just bring that really nice reminder to your home of something that was handmade, and it's a simple swap out of a cushion cover, but that just means quite a lot. Then in terms of lights, so a selection of pretty lanterns are something that are really popular. So popping them on the front porch, in front of the front door, it brings that old world charm. They can also be placed on the mantelpiece, in front of the fire, and there's some really great LED candles now, so you don't have to worry about the safety of lighting a candle, but they have that fake little flickering light. It almost seems like the real thing, and they're much safer. If you forget to turn them off, it's just a battery, so they're really, really popular as well. And of course, the addition of fairy lights, which we're all well aware of. And then the final piece was around special decorations. So I think I've kind of alluded to that a little bit, but Christmas has a lot of tradition. It has a lot of meaning, and I think it's something important that can become a bit of a family ritual almost, that each member of the family gets to choose that decoration that goes in the tree, or perhaps the children make something, or you get a decoration made up with the year and perhaps all the family members and a likeness on it. And I think that's something that's really special and become quite a tradition, and I'm all about that at Christmas. I think it's important to have the traditions and to go back to them. So it's about adding those special decorations that every member of the family feels involved and can add an element that they like to the Christmas decorations. So thank you very much, everyone. As I said, if you want to know anything more about any of the kind of subjects I touched on there, they're all available on ufurnish.com. We've created some blog content, same as on our social medias as well. So absolutely any questions as well, feel free to ask. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. Lots of ideas and tips there. So, and we can find them on your website. That's what you just said. Yeah. Okay, great. So, Caroline, do you want to say a few words about it's a Christmas market, no? It's a kind of Christmas market you are organizing.
It is. It's we're doing what's called the Tinsel International Christmas Market down in the Algarve. So it's the first one that is being done over a 4-day period. So we're sort of basing it sort of on the Irish / German / Vienna type markets. So there's lots of different food stalls, a lot of different crafts, lots of different, the idea is you go there to buy Christmas gifts rather than just buy tat, if you like, you know what I mean? So you can buy your nice wreaths or your nice Christmas decorations, or, you know, kids can decorate their own stockings. You can make your own wreaths. You can decorate gingerbread men. We've got Santa, we've got carols singing, we've got live music. We've got Christmas trees. You can actually buy your Christmas tree there. Face painting, everything really. So it's activity based as well as it is as much, you know, as people selling craft gifts and things like that for Christmas. So yeah, it's it should be good. We have over about 30 stalls. We've got different activities happening different times throughout the days. So it doesn't encourage everybody to be there at once. So if depending on what you want to do, you can just go for that period of time. And then we're doing it in conjunction with Salvation Army. So we're doing a donation drive for them to help provide as many people in the Algarve with Christmas dinner and a gift this Christmas. So anything between dry goods or hygiene products, money or gifts. We're asking everybody just if you can buy that one more item and drop it off. It will go a long way to support them this Christmas. They actually finished the event with their brass band on the Sunday evening. So that's a nice big full concert from them. So it's a nice way to end. So yeah, so if you're in the Algarve, it's in Quarteira, between Quarteira and Villamora, very central, really easy parking. So yeah, it's called the Nice Park, which is in Quinta Romao, just in behind the swimming pool in Quarteira. And the reason I chose there is because it's got an ice rink. So then everybody can obviously go ice skating as well and get into that real proper Christmas spirit, which we don't have in Portugal because the sun normally shines, apart from today.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more Christmassy, more winter wonderland themed, if you like.
Yeah. And it's from this Thursday.
Starts this Thursday, yeah. Thursday and Fridays from 5 until 10, and then Saturday and Sunday it's from 10 until 8. So the kids finish school around here between Thursday and Friday, so it just gives parents a chance if they want to go a night during the week or go at the weekend. So.
And
yeah,
it's the first time you do it this year.
First time it's ever been done in the Algarve, yeah.
Yeah,
first time it's been done in the Algarve. So especially a 4-day event. Normally in the Algarve, they would just do like an afternoon fair, and they wouldn't have activities and things. So this one's sort of a bit of everything.
Okay, great. Sounds wonderful.
Good.
Yeah.
So it's on the website. It's on my website, shebangonline.co.uk, or it's on the Facebook and social media under Tinsel Town Christmas Village. So check it out.
Yeah. Okay, I will share that. Okay, so that's it. I don't know if there's still a few people. If anybody has any questions or comments for Susanna or Sarah or Caroline, just feel free. No. No.
Could you share, Arnold? Could you share the website of the Christmas market in Algarve?
Yeah, I think Caroline, did you? No,
I'm just doing it now. Yeah.
Yeah, put it in.
But I will share it. I will share it on an email afterwards. And I think Karen, you wanted to say something?
Thank you. I want to ask Sarah. Sarah, I'm actually looking at your website and lots of stuff on it, but it's a UK-based website.
Yes.
And I have no idea where any of the furniture is coming from, which means trying to get it to either Portugal or to Ireland is likely to be an enormous headache.
Yes, so at the moment we're largely servicing just the UK market. As I said, it does depend on the retailers. So there's 100 different retailers, and I guess the way of essentially figuring that one out would be if you saw a product you liked, then check the retailer's website. But unfortunately at the moment we are just servicing the UK. Of course, big plans to eventually get to Ireland and Portugal and elsewhere, but just the UK at the moment.
But some of your retailers will be, because I think you just signed an agreement with La Redoute in France, for instance.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
So
yeah.
Those people will be delivering their products everywhere, no?
Yeah. So I guess at the moment it is largely just UK furniture retailers with the aim of just servicing the UK market. But of course, some that are coming on at the moment will deliver to other locations as well. But just UK kind of focus at the moment, unfortunately.
Okay. No, very good. So Bernadette, don't know. No. Okay. So I think we'll finish here. I'm going to share the presentation, Susanna, if you can send it to me.
Okay, I will.
You can send me your presentation. I will share it with everybody. And the video will be on our YouTube channel, so it will be viewed by more people, that's for sure. Now we know a little bit more about your, what you're offering, Susanna, and Sarah as well, a little bit more about your furnish. So that's great. Anybody wants to say something?
Can I just say thanks very much? That was very, very enjoyable to sit and have a listen to that. The wines in particular, I'm thinking of later on now. I'm putting my feet up and having some wine and moving some furniture around also, Sarah. So, and I'd like to take the opportunity to wish everybody there a very happy and safe, peaceful Christmas.
Yeah, same from us. Merry Christmas to everybody. Enjoy your holiday. And we'll see you again next year. We have already some activities planned, but just check the website and you will see. But wishing you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
See you, everybody. Have a great Christmas.
Hey.
Happy Christmas.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.